You ever watch something and think to yourself, I can do this? That's what I did when I came up with the adjuncts. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and it was a total nightmare, but yet somehow I got it done. Let's start with episode one. We had to shoot three different times. If you pay close attention, we used three different times, three different cameras, and three different crews. So let me explain this. That opening scene we shot in August. The episode initially was shot in January. And then there's a clip towards the end where you see Professor what's his name? I should know this, I wrote it right. Joshua Hunter. He's sitting in the background and he's talking to his students about their first day of class. That was literally shot probably in March. So we've got January, we've got March, and then we have July. No, wait, August. My bad, because we took a month off. So we shot three different scenes, one episode, three different times. And I don't like that because every day that you shoot costs money. When we started looking at episode one as a whole, like we saw a draft of it because we had two different editors. I'll explain that later too. But when the first editor showed us episode one, it looked like a bunch of like just a bunch of random stories put together. It had no flow, had no storyline. So I went back with Amani and we brainstormed and we came up with how we kind of wanted it to flow because there was a bunch of holes in it that weren't explained. Also, you'll notice the sound changes quite a bit. I can't tell you how much backlash I got because of how much of a sound struggle we had. That first episode, we literally shot it three different times, and it just happens that way. Sometimes in production, when you see the final product, you're like, and if you have a chance to change it, change it. Okay, so the opening scene is supposed to introduce all of the adjuncts, all six adjuncts. If you count, there's only five. Now, remember I told you we shot episode one three different times. We couldn't get one of the adjuncts back on that day because she literally was booked. And I said to her, I said, go with the other gig. We'll figure it out. And we found a way to kind of work it in there. But I hated that she wasn't there because I was wondering, I said, is everyone going to know that there's actually six of them, not five? But we had to do what we had to do. We had to reshoot that scene, whether she's going to be there or not. So we did it. So the good news is we're able to mention her. She's immediately shown in the very next scene. And then you see her from that point forward because she never really missed any shoots. She was pretty easy. She was an easy actress to work with. Now, so there's that opening scene. And then the second scene, believe it or not, we had to create last minute when it came to casting. Because the original guy that's supposed to be Keith Palmer had kind of sort of quit or he kind of sort of disappeared. I can't explain it, but because I don't remember, and I think I was pissed off, so I think I blocked it in my memory because I didn't want to remember it. But anyway, it kind of got someone better and well, hotter. So, enjoy. The character Keith, who's played by Travis Cure, we called him in last minute, gave him his lines, and boy, did he deliver it. I mean, he's a really good actor, which was really cool because imagine getting called in and having to know your lines within like 15 minutes. And he nails it. He killed the scene. It established that particular storyline, and I was good with that. I mean, I could totally live with a hot guy on set and a lot of hot actors, quite frankly. But he really carried that character really well. Okay, so we casted Travis, and he had like a different name, and for whatever reason, I couldn't remember the name. I kept calling him Keith over and over and over again, so we eventually just changed the name to Keith because I couldn't get it right. That was another type of hiccup type of thing that as a writer, I hated when I was on set and I had to make changes because then it trickles down. It's not just me that makes the changes. I have to give it to the script suit. I've got to give it to the directors. I've got to give it to the actors, and the other actors, they memorize the script, so they have cues of when they need to speak. So if I'm changing the script, it jumbles everything up, literally from me all the way down to the actors. Because if one actor is expecting another actor to say a specific line, and I change that line, that's completely screws them up. So I hated making like line changes on set, but it just happens. The final draft is never final until the director yells cut. Another thing with an opening scene, when we shot in January, when I looked at the footage, I realized it wasn't going to work. And initially had Sandy Mop walk to the school and just kind of be just defeated, like, oh my God, I have to go back to this horrible job, blah, 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 blah. But the story took place in August. We shot it in January, and it looked like it was January. She was wearing this big, huge coat. She was wearing winter clothes. It was cold outside. You didn't see any grass. You didn't see any trees with leaves. It just looked like a cold day on campus. Not to mention, there were all kinds of logos of the actual school we shot at, and I said, this isn't going to work. So we reshot it, kept the same outfit per se, but we had to pretty much scratch the coat because it didn't make any sense. So, that was another thing we had to consider, because if you're looking at the series, there are points of it where they talked about the different time of year, and school starts in August. So I said, yeah, we're gonna have to reshoot the scene. I didn't like it anyway because it looked cold, the camera was all shaky. I mean, take a look yourself.
Is that better? Yeah. All right, cut it. Good job.
I just wasn't a fan, so that had to go. So we have the next scene where you see Taylor and Alejandro. They run into the new character, Allison. So that was also added in August as well, because Allison had such an important role in the series, but we never established who she was or, what her relationship was with the adjuncts, other than she quit being an adjunct at some point. So M.A.D wrote this scene to establish her relationship with Alejandro and just to kind of show who she was at the very beginning. And we see her again towards the last scene of the episode, and then she pops back up in episode 2. So we had to do that one. I loved how that one was shot. And then we had a beautiful background. By this point, we're only using one camera, so it worked out that all the scenes looked the same. Now, I didn't like that she looked blurry at some points, but again, it's just certain things that you got to deal with. The newer crew, all of us were kind of fresh out of school. We had some experienced people on set, but I'm not sure what happened and why. When the camera was on her, it looked slightly blurry. I wasn't happy about that. And, I appreciate everyone who gladly reminded me about that, because I didn't want to shoot myself at this point. However, the audio was pretty awesome, so hey, I'll take it. The cool thing I love about the first episode is it completely establishes the character-driven series. Because you saw each and every one of them kind of outside of the break room and saw their personalities, and the next thing you see, Roderick's character, who's also was a name change. Eric Lang, who played Roderick, initially wasn't set to be in the series, because after the promos, he had such a busy schedule coming up, he wasn't sure whether or not he wanted to be in it. And I said, okay, fine. So I quickly had to rewrite what I need to rewrite to kind of write his character out. But then last minute, he said, hey, I want to jump back on board. So we were like, oh, crap. So I had to rewrite him back in. His character's name initially was Rashik, because I wanted to cast a character with an Indian background, because I met one when I did this short a long time ago. I just fell in love with the name Rashik. And so I wanted an Indian character named Rashik, but then we didn't get that. And instead, we got Eric Lang, who did an amazing job. But calling him Rashik would make no sense. And then that would mean we have to establish that. It was just too much with the editing. So instead, he said, I look like my name would be Roderick. And we were like, yeah, I like it. And here came Roderick. Now, the scene with Samantha and Alejandro, I actually really, really liked, because it's a whole teacher and student romance, and everyone used to ask me, did you ever mess with one of your students? And I said, you know what? Hell no. Simply because, first of all, I know how bad their grammar is, and I couldn't date someone with terrible, terrible grammar and didn't know how to write an essay using a strong thesis statement in MLA formatting. So, yeah, no, I never messed around, but I did know some professors that did. I mean, no names, because, sworn secrecy, teachers sit together. She played the mess out of Samantha, and throughout the season, I thought it was great. But again, the only issue that I had with it was just kind of out of focus shots and some audio, but it worked out. I personally liked the storyline and how the love triangle started and how it kind of moved the story along, especially when you get to episode 7. Spoiler alert.